order. Everybody, please stand and
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sounds like we're at a coffee can here.
It does.
All right, roll call, please.
All board members are present this evening.
Okay, we need to make a change on the agenda. No, I guess we do the approval of the agenda. So yeah, we need to make a change, recommended by our attorney, to move from the consent agenda, item C, to item 8E. And that's the HAVA Act Resolution 20-25, CARES Act Grant Agreement. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I would move to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported, vote please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right, announcements and information inquiry. The general election is November 3rd. Are we sure it's on the 3rd? That's an inside joke. Sorry. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Only put your ballots from the absentee ballots in a real box, not a fake box. The township offices will be open Saturday, October 31st, 2020, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. as well for absentee ballots. Any public comment?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you supposed to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, we are. Sorry about that. We did, didn't we?
No,
didn't.
we did.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Yeah.
Back up to 5.
I would move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, announcements, we've done that one.
Let's do it again.
Public comment, we did that one. Okay, no public comment beyond Jennifer Frederick correcting me. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Move on to new business.
I wanted those things to be approved.
I've got to do it right. The first item, A, local government approval for on-premises tasting room permit for cabaret. You pronounce it cabaret?
Yep, correct.
That's sort of French in it, winery. We do have Heidi and John Olson here tonight, and I think most of you probably said hi to them. So I guess, does anybody have any questions on this from the board?
Does this count towards the number of liquor licenses allowed for the township?
I don't really,
They don't have a strict number of liquor licenses anymore. You can buy a liquor license and move it into the township. It's all handled
Yeah,
by the
they
state.
do have a strict number in the township. I just wondered if this was counted as one of them, or there are some that are unlimited, some kinds are unlimited. I just wasn't familiar with the wine tasting. I was just curious.
yeah, Mr. Olson, do you have any, sort of state requirements that it doesn't seem like it's the same as a liquor license, but.
It's not the same as a liquor license, like a distillery license, if you will. It's
Right.
a separate thing altogether.
It's not a Class C or one of those. It's just like
It's still a Class C, but it's not a Class C tavern license.
Okay.
Because we're not bringing in different liquors and
okay.
other distilled spirits. They were unclear on like how many licenses are available in any certain area. It's up to the discretion of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had always thought it was for the discretion of the township that you're in.
It used to be by population, so
Correct.
many by population. But then they started making exceptions for, wine tasting might not count as 1 year Class C. I don't know, I was just curious how they changed it, but it doesn't matter or anything.
So that's where we're at.
Okay, glad to have you here anyway.
Thank you.
Whereabouts is this located? Where's that? I say South Milford Road. Where's that exactly?
We'll be in the same strip mall as Dee's Cafe and come back in.
Oh, okay.
They'll be in the spot where the print shop was.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
So, you were handed out a zoning land use copy. And the reason for that is that didn't get put in the packet. And Gary, our attorney, didn't see it. He said that he thought we needed to have that, so it turns out we did have it. We just didn't have it in that packet.
Okay.
It wasn't turned over to us by the planning and zoning department there. So we did get that. Attorney said, no problem. So I guess what we can do is, if nobody has any other questions on
I have a
that.
couple of questions, if you don't mind.
What's that, Ronnie?
I have a couple of questions. What are the hours of I'm looking for that, hours of operation?
It's still in flux right now because we're still kind of figuring out exactly what percentage of people are going to be around there that are going to be going there. We were originally thinking Wednesday through Sunday, like 12 to 8.
Okay.
It's just a general hours.
Inside only or inside outside?
Inside only at this point.
Okay.
Maybe in the summertime, of course, we'll have some seating out front.
Okay. Thank you. I'm good.
And polar bear seating. If we
You know what,
cross the
actually, I
river.
thought about that, those igloo things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see.
Your ice wine.
Yeah, right?
And the
Ice
ice
wine,
chairs.
there you go.
Ice wine in the igloo.
All right, anybody else have any questions?
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank
food?
you.
Any food? Refreshments or food?
The only food that we will serve would be like a charcuterie tray, so like cheese, crackers, things like that.
Snack stuff.
food.
All right, that's cool. That's exciting. It's nice to have a new something here in Highland that's a little different than just a basic restaurant.
How long has that building been vacant?
Not a long
Not
time.
Not very long?
Months, several months.
Okay.
I'd say not a year.
That particular space, I think, has been maybe 6 months at most.
Yeah, I'm glad we're filling it back in.
It's hard to tell with this COVID thing what the time frame was. It's
I know.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So,
I think they were open until COVID hit.
Oh, really?
I believe they
Yeah.
were, yes.
all right, would anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I move to approve the approval for an on-premise tasting room permit for the Tabaret Winery.
Support.
Any
Mary support.
moved and supported, vote please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion
Well, thank
carries.
you very much.
Thank you very Welcome. much.
So,
Did you bring any wine to taste or what?
I asked him if we should.
Yeah, I kind of thought that would be a bad taste. Like Shark Tank.
That would be a bad taste, right?
He didn't know the rules.
One
Oh,
question.
get the memo.
well, you saw it, I already goofed up once and I told you I could only drink one drink, and that would have been worse, so it's good.
Do you plan on being open before Christmas, do you think?
No,
Depends
I
on
just
how
wonder-
fast the federal and state government allow us to,
I'm just
That's a
thinking, wouldn't
no.
that be a great Christmas present for somebody to get a gift card to one of your wine tasting events and class or something? That would be
that's a good point.
Great idea.
Yeah,
So if you
it's-
know anybody on the state and federal level, you can, tell us and we can.
Yeah, we're like the first cog, and this is,
Yeah.
they need this
We need
document to
this
get to the
approval to
next
go on.
document.
Yeah, thank you.
So, we're very happy that you're wanting to do this in Highland, and I appreciate it very much, and,
There you go. Your state rep, yeah.
you don't have to hang around for the rest of the meeting if you don't want to, but hopefully we're gonna make it short here so that we'll beat you out the door.
I would suggest maybe seriously contacting Mike Maddock, he's our state rep, and then maybe Haley Stevens, our federal. Just, I mean, can always contact their office and ask them. Sure, if there's anything that they can, they're supposed to be constituent service, right?
Okay.
So if
It's
there's
an
anything,
election year.
maybe they can at
It
least,
is an election year.
maybe they at least lead you in the right direction, you know, so.
Well, appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, I can tell you, if you contact Haley Stevens, she'll be on it.
Okay, well, good
That's,
to know.
that's her demeanor. I mean, she gets on stuff. If you have questions, she's there. She, doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, she's there to help out. So, give that a try first, as well as, keep her informed, and she might be one of your first customers. So,
Thank
all
you.
right,
And Mike Maddock at the state level.
Matt Bass.
What's that?
Who are you talking about?
Maddock at the state level.
Yeah, Matt.
Oh, Matt, what am I, yeah, Matt, Maddock, yeah, so.
And we got, anyways, we better move on. See, I don't need any wine. All right, the next item, resolution 20-23 to support legislation to reduce the speed limit on unimproved roads. Where this came from is, once a month I meet with 15, 16 other township supervisors, and we have a gathering where we talk about issues in the communities, and one of them that constantly keeps coming up is speed limits on dirt roads. And as individual communities, most of the people have never seemed to be able to make headway with the state. So Pat Kittle from Independence talked with the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department wrote a letter that they were on board with this resolution and we also, as the OCATs, Oakland County supervisors, did the same resolution as a group, and then each of us agreed to go back to our boards to ask our boards to also do it, so that it'll all go to the state as a package, so that they can see that all the supervisors in Oakland County are on board with this. And basically what it is they want to get it down to 45 miles per hour. And of course, it'll be hard to, as Matt can probably agree, how you're going to enforce it. But what it does do is there's a lot of citizens that do complain about the speed of people on back roads. Highland doesn't have a lot of dirt roads, but some of these other communities have 40 to 70 miles or more of dirt roads. And so it's kind of a way to work together as supervisors on a county basis to maybe have a little bit more impact to be able to get the state police to look at this situation. So it may or may not work, but it doesn't hurt to join together and try to work together to see if we can come up with something. So that's what this ordinance is, or this request is about, the resolution. And so if everybody's, I'm hoping you were able to take a look at it. It's pretty simple. But so if anybody has any questions, I hope I could answer them for you. So if not, if we could get a motion to approve it.
I would move to approve resolution 20-23 to support legislation to reduce the speed limit on unimproved roads.
Support?
Okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
I vote yes.
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 Hey, slow
Motion
down.
carries.
Thank you very much. Next item is resolution 20-24 to allow Sun Highland Greens Estates LLC to operate drinking water system serving Highland Greens Estates MHC. This is something that they need to move forward with their water system because they got damaged by the gas line, and so they had to do a bunch of improvements to it. And so they were requested to get this resolution from us in order to move forward. So
I would move to approve resolution 20-24 to allow Sun Highland Greens Estates LLC to operate drinking water system serving Highland Greens Estates MHC.
Support.
okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, the next item is an interesting, I think it's interesting anyways, a company called, that is called CGI Communications. And what they do is they do video, what do you want to call it, for communities. They do 5,000 communities in the across the United States. They've got 4,000 employees. And they do this setup. What you see on the screen here is White Lake Township. And they set this up and they go out to the businesses. In your packet, there was a sample model letter that they want us to fill out. And then they take that letter to the business owners and they get them to pay for a video or a thing to go on their own websites. And so they're interactive. So if you click on these things around the screen, they'll bring up that individual company. And this CGI goes to those companies. They do all the video. They take care of everything. And they do it for free for us. So they're not asking for a dime. And even if they don't get any businesses on board, they will still do it for us for free. And they're very sure about, I mean, they're, like I said, 5,000 communities they do. Both White Lake and Waterford, who we partner with on our bus program, are very much interested in getting our bus program to be a part of this. They will also do a video for WODA, the bus program, for free. And it'll be on this thing to be able to have on our website so people can link to it. And so I'll start this video so you can.
Hi, I'm Rick Cole, White Lake Township Supervisor. Welcome to White Lake, your four-season playground. Come pay us a visit.
Home to 21 breathtaking lakes, scenic recreation areas, and some great places to dine, shop, and reside. White Lake is a great place to live, work, and play. White Lake, Michigan, your destination for relaxation.
So if you had Cabaret Winery, and like with Zot Automotive here, you click on that, it goes to their site, and then they have their video and their information. So it's really extremely well developed. I think it's an awesome idea. Like I said, it doesn't cost us anything, but it is a contract, and I still need to have the board's approval to sign the contract. So my ask is for approval to sign the contract to work with CGI Communications.
How long's the contract go for?
It's just a contract to develop the whole program. And once it's done, it's ours. You know, and then they also they'll maintain it for a few years, and they'll update videos and you know, if you want some changes made, they'll make the changes for you. So it's still all no cost. And you know, that was the thing I said, no cost. Is it like an in-app purchase or something? It's not. The business owners are the ones that bear that cost. I don't know how much that is. That they don't get into that. But I think it's based on ability. So
That's a nice promotion piece.
yeah, and they'll contact all the businesses in the community. They handle all of that stuff. They, like you guys, they would get a hold of you, meet with you. We can make referrals to say, here's some people in our community that, you know, businesses that may want to do this. So they'll take it from anywhere they can, but they handle the works. And there's other communities involved in this too. So just to give you an example, this is their corporation channel. And they do school systems, counties, municipalities like the city of Taylor. These are support videos for the company and what they've done for them. Then they have a library of media and stuff. So I guess anybody have any questions?
Basically, like, instead of mailing out advertising, we're the vehicle for them to put it on our website, and they're selling advertising.
Yep.
Well, I think it would be a
And
win-win.
it's a way to work with the community and community businesses to be able to help grow it. And growing doesn't necessarily mean we just bring in a whole bunch more businesses, but we grow the business's ability to be able to serve the community. And so, all right.
I would move to approve or authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement with CGI Communications Community Video Program.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you very much. The next item, 8E, is the HABA Act and Resolution 20-25. So, Tammy, why don't you, I'll let you describe this a little better.
Right, the state made some money available to get an additional tabulator so that we can have 3 tabulators running in the absentee county board. And we actually got this machine back in the summertime, and they're just kind of following up on getting the paperwork done for it. The state covered half the cost, and then the other half was covered through our county CARES Act money.
That's great. I saw you got your tent too.
What's that?
You got your tent? Is that
Yeah,
one too?
that tent came from the CTCL that we,
Oh, okay.
that's the
That's right.
private, nonprofit group.
So anyways, there were some elements that needed to be accounted for on the document. And that was in the grant there itself, there needs to be some items filled out, which is, Tammy has the document filled out, just so you know that it's there. It's, the supervisor is the one that's signer and responsible. And so Gary said make sure that's filled in before we proceeded to approve the resolution. So resolution 20-25 is what we're looking to approve.
I would move to approve Resolution 20-25, the Help America Vote Act CARES Act grant agreement, and authorize the supervisor to sign that agreement.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right. Now for what the meeting's initially meant for, and that's the budget. And the budget we passed out, there's some blue cells on page 2, 3, 4, and 10, and those are the changes that were made from the past budget.
Versions,
What's that?
the past versions of this year's budget.
And there is, the DDA's documentation is missing because they just gave it to us
Jenny?
this afternoon.
Here, watch.
It should be the one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Jenny,
Thank you, ma'am. You should come more often.
Bill needs one.
I will be coming more often, thank you.
I didn't realize they were put at the tables.
So if you want to look at those items, on page 2, one of the things that's, a couple of things that came up is, Jennifer Frederick, needs to have a deputy. And the current deputy for the current treasurer, agreed to do so, but with, of course, a request for some additional compensation. We felt it was pretty important that, we make sure that we have somebody that really knows what's going on, and so the current deputy agreed to stay and make sure that we're heading in the right direction. It's pretty difficult to take somebody that's been, how many years has Karen been doing it?
Karen's been here for 8 years as my deputy, and before that, she was our bookkeeper.
So that's a lot of knowledge that you don't want to lose, and skills, and she's really good at it. So we felt that, and even with the changes we made in there, we're still on the positive side with the budget by $20,777. So we didn't have to dip into the fund balance for this budget. And then in my office, Jennifer, who chose to run away from me, leave me, my best person there, and run for treasurer, and was able to do so. So I need to find somebody to take her place. And the truth is that I only know one other person that could come close. And we put out for job resumes, and we had over 260 responses, of which I went through every single one of them and had a real hard time trying to decide what to do. And so what ended up happening is I had previously asked my other assistant, who also does the assessing, to if she'd be interested in the job, and at the time I think it scared her, but she had some other things going on. So after she thought about it, we talked about it, Karen Provo decided that she wanted to do it. And so what she's going to do is she's going to take on Jennifer's job, and we're going to move forward and make sure that she's comfortable with that, but also at a future date, not right away. I don't think we need to do anything until probably maybe after the first of the year, to look for somebody that can take care of, learn the assessing process, because that's what Karen does. So Karen, I've offered a job to Karen, and so it'll be kind of seamless, because until this COVID thing, Jennifer and Karen sat right in the same office, and literally they were transparent. I mean, I didn't have to do much. All I had to do is say something, and they had answers for me. So, and they both had skill sets that are top notch. I mean, can't speak any more highly of the two of them. So, the township's going to be blessed with a new treasurer that is a driven individual. Is going to do an awesome job, and I'm going to be blessed with having the same individual that was formerly in my office working directly with me. So I'm pleased with that. So what happens is there's some changes in the wages for Karen. She's moving into a different position. We're not filling that position at this point in time, but we're keeping it open. And what we've done is we've dropped that wage level down for the future. Any new people that come in will come in at a different pay scale. So that's what's going on with there. And so if you look at the assessing, there's a new number in there that previously was 28,000. Now it's 25,935. We did also take into account the project that Tammy put out. That was an assessment of wages for other townships, compared to wages to townships in Oakland County. So when we looked at these numbers, so on page 3, That's the treasurer's deputy wage, and the deputy clerk also received a increase in, recommended increase in pay. Page 4 is professional services. Tammy has recommended that we digitize the minutes, all the minutes and documents for board meetings. And so we've added, from the previous version of this, we had $35,000 in there. We added $15,000 to do that. It's quite a project because it'll all be interactive that way. So you can ask for a name or a topic, and it'll search for those words within those digital documents. Right now, you have to go, what month did we talk about that? And then you got to go look through all the minutes to see if that was the one. I've been through all the minutes for all the years that they've been done digitally personally, and I can tell you it's a nightmare. When you're looking for something, I swear it was there. 8 years later, you're going, oh, what year was that? And so I think it's a great idea, and we just wanted to make sure we had it in the budget beforehand. So we don't know the exact cost at this point. I think it was an estimate.
I had an estimate a while back, but it's been a while, so.
So then on page 10, 10 was, that also relates to Karen's former wage. She was split between assessing and refuse, and so you can see that that's a drop. So some new personnel position will start at $11,115 a year, formerly $13,000. So what we're trying to do also is when an opening comes up, we're trying to look at it and say, how do we establish a guideline so we're not bringing somebody in at the previous person's salary and we end up jacking salaries up so high that it creates a problem down the road in terms of trying to justify it. So that's it for the changes in the budget. Anybody have any questions?
When are we gonna see the DDA budget?
What's that?
When are we gonna see the?
Yeah, they're gonna have it for, what I'll do is I'll get it printed and get it to you like as soon as.
Okay.
Jennifer, you're still working for me, aren't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it today at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we were talking about just as she's leaving, I said, forget it, we're not gonna try and jam that in there. So the DDA budget will be, we'll get that out to you in the next couple days. And then it'll be all completely assembled for the November budget, or the November meeting, so we can approve the budget. Any other questions?
Can I speak to, I had some suggestions about salary structure. And this is just a conversation starter, so I thought maybe it's something that we can work on for future budgets. The hardest part of the budget, I think, is setting salaries. And of course, it's always the most contentious, and it's just the hardest to nail it down. So I think we're working towards providing a little bit more structure there. And of course, we did the salary study, so that's why most of the salary upgrades were changed, because some of those salaries were running a little bit low. So currently we have grade levels that are attached to each job position. And under those grade levels, Rick and Jenny are working on setting up 3 different levels of pay. Probably 3, right?
Yep.
So new hire, you have a knowledge of your basic job duties, and then you master the position. So after that, probably the easiest way to come up with raises for the future would be to tie it to the CPI. So that's the rate of inflation. The CPI is set by the state of Michigan. The CPI that we use as Highland Township is the CPI that's set for the state for assessing. So it's the increases in tax bills. And that's just where I come from. So. And then the last thing is the merit raises. We've set money in the budget for merit raises for the last few years, but we haven't utilized that money just because of whatever. So I've been thinking about this a lot and thought maybe we turn it around and bring it from the employee's viewpoint. Maybe the employee comes up with a way that would be a major improvement of how we serve our residents, or just process flow within the building. And they could present that to their department head. Department head presents it to the three of us, and we just talk about it and see if it, well, the three of you. So you can see how it would work, possibly present it to the board if it would need to come to the board if it was a major change. And actually, the employee would drive their request for a merit raise. The merit raise applications would come to the township board, and the township board of trustees would vote on it. It would take it out of the building. It would take the connotation of favoritism away, and a lot of the stuff that goes along with all that, right?
Yes.
And it would, I think it would promote some things. It would motivate the employees to highlight their talents and accomplishments. Sometimes we don't even know what people are capable of, and they don't know what they're capable of. It would give public acknowledgement of individual accomplishment, because those things would come to the township board, and the employees would get that pat on the back. The employees would hopefully take more pride in Highland Township and ownership of their position. It would give the board and the public an opportunity to know individuals and their job responsibilities. It would give the board and the public a better understanding of workflow within the township. It would reduce the perception of favoritism and unfairness, and ultimately it improves transparency. If changes promoted by the employee would really change the responsibilities of a position, we could also appeal for a grade change. So those are just some suggestions, something to think about. It just, I thought it might bring a little bit more creativity and a little bit more teamwork into the township. So,
You know, going along with that, Judy, one of the things we've done where I worked is each year they established goals and objectives and kind of said, this is what our goals are, or objectives for the year. And then the employee kind of looked at that, working towards those goals and objectives and what they did for that. But I like your idea.
I really like it coming from the employee. Because then they have skin in the game, but they have something to work towards at the same time. So just thoughts.
Thank you, Judy. That's an excellent process that you put together, thought process. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
So,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
How come this crossing guards are cut $350? What was the determining factor there?
Oh, we lost the crossing guard.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So the one at Livingston, or at, Milford Road in Livingston, we don't have that one anymore.
Okay.
We just have them at the school entrance for both schools.
Before there was no walking light, and that stuff got upgraded.
Right.
All right, any other questions or comments?
We've had no issues there at Milford Road and Livingston. It still seems like even with the walking light, I mean, it's.
Well, Ann, who used to work there, I mean, she said that very few families walked. And
Okay,
if they did, they were with the parents.
gotcha.
So it wasn't at an age where they could go by themselves.
Okay. Thank you.
So I do have a comment from the chief. At our OCAD's meeting today, and this is to reinforce ALS, the Advanced Life Support. Addison Township can't find anybody for that position. All of the communities are doing everything they can to figure out how to find somebody for those positions. Now, Independence Township has actually offered a building to, what's the one that's north of here?
MedStar.
Yes, for them to operate out of, and we had Star, who was operating out of here, and they made that choice to move out, which puts them over by the airport someplace where they sit and hover and wait for a call. And it turns out that Orion Township, they use Star, and they can't get Star to come into their place, and And it's just, the Star seems to want to grow, but they can't find the people. And so it's a reinforcement that pretty much the path we're taking is, and I know the chief has had to put in that request to move that direction. This is reinforcement that what you're doing is the path that we need to follow, because we can't depend on, especially when your citizens are expecting people to show up within 5 to 8 minutes or whatever, which we seem to be able to do pretty well on that. If they're driving from Pontiac, it's not going to work. It isn't going to happen. And so I think that we're going to have to really pay attention to our firemen in terms of this is something that in the union negotiation thing, that this is my opinion, that I noticed was the wages, that they're the ones that put it forward. But I don't know why somebody would do that, John, for the wages that we pay. And I think that we need to really think hard. It is an additional expense, but we need to think hard and long about what do they get paid, is it realistic? And when I see $10 an hour, I don't care who you are. That doesn't seem to be, the only reason you'd be working for $10 an hour is because you just want to be a firefighter. You know, we all talked about at this meeting about being an EMT, and you know, that's the basic life support. I was an EMT from 1978 to 1984. I couldn't handle it anymore. I mean, I had my business for one, but also I just couldn't handle the emotional component of it. What it takes to be a basic EMT today is 10 to 20 times greater than what I had to go through. And to do ALS, you might as well go to med school. And so we really need to be thinking about how we look at this going forward in the future. So it's just a recommendation that for board members as well, that if the union come and asks for a little bit more money, I don't believe it pays to be a hard baller in this first case of the scenarios. You know, I think that these guys, they don't get paid for what they really are put out there to do.
They're making $10 an hour?
The lowest level, the entry level, but the chief could probably explain it.
I see that, okay.
But it's that kind of thing where you start talking to these other supervisors, and they all have the same scenario. You know, they got they just can't get people to fill that position. And as I know from being tied into the 911 app that the firefighters all have, the fires aren't the problem. The problem is servicing the people that need medical assistance and lifts. And we have a fairly old community. I mean, the general population, there's a lot of runs for lifts and things like that. So I commend you and I commend your employees, and pay real close attention, because we could have our guys stolen. And that's what I'm kind of indicating, is we need to protect our ALS people and make sure that we're attending to them in a way that makes them understand that we really do care and want to nurture their staying in Highland, because they're our people. There are supervisors that are out there looking. And Bruce Pearson over there in Addison, who Lieutenant knows very well, he's been beside himself. He's got, you know, he can't get an ambulance service to come out there. It's a long ways out. If they did, it'd be a half-hour ride. You know, it's a place you don't want to live if you need advanced life support. And so some of the others have been sending EMT out with an ALS. And one of the things that came up was there were 2 people in the ambulance at the same time. So which person got ALS and which person didn't get handled? You know, you can't do 2 people at once with one individual. So there's some issues that I think we need to look at. Yes.
Is there a way that we could get, like we do here, a comparison of other places, what they're paying? Is that a tough thing to do, or could you, I mean, I don't want to put a lot of work on anybody, but it'd be nice to know what everybody else is paying, so at least we know what we're dealing with here. So we're currently in contract negotiations with both the paid on call group and the IFF group. I don't have a problem getting that information for you, but I'm sure it will be coming. And not coming from me, it'll be coming from.
That's fair, I just like,
some point.
yeah, I'd like to see what the, and do you think that, I mean, obviously when you pay more, you get other people, but is that the biggest issue we're having? A lot of these places is a low pay, is why guys, men and women don't want to do this job. If the pay was increased to a certain point, would that, I think I know the answer to my question, but if we paid them more, I mean, would that be obviously a driving factor to get them to come and work for us? Is that what we're talking about, picking people and paying better wages in different places?
The biggest problem, I mean, it's not just the pay, it's not just the work environment, it's not new stations, new equipment or anything like that. There's a bigger problem here. And we talked about it last year. In 2000, they changed the testing process to become a paramedic, and it was a national registry program. So you have to test nationally to get your license in Michigan. They went from graduating 2,500 paramedics a year down to 500 paramedics a year.
Wow.
As guys retire from the fire service, from the emergency medical service, or they get hired at the hospitals, it limits our availability of staff to take the roles. Last year, this year, beginning of this year, we started a paramedic scholarship program to encourage the guys at no cost to them to take this paramedic class. We're doing everything we can to provide for the community. And I hate to disagree with you, fires are the problem still.
Well, they are a problem, but I'm just saying.
We don't fight the numbers that we used to fight in the old days. And out here, there's no water supply, so.
I'm not saying that fire isn't, but when you look at the amount of activity that is.
85% of our run volume is EMS. The other 15% are car accidents, trees down, wires down, and structure fires.
How many paramedics and EMTs do we currently have?
Currently, we have 5 full-time, including Sean and myself, and then we have 4 additional in the paid on call ranks.
What's,
We got 9 total.
how does that rank in terms of what's a good number? What would be a great number to have? Is 9 a good number, or what's a?
Theoretically, I'd like to have 2 per shift. That way, when one person's off, we still have an ALS ambulance available for the community. I would say probably ballpark 12.
Okay. Close, but a few more than that. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, I just.
No, I think
thought
it's
it was pretty good
very
information.
important. There's no doubt.
And, it's startling to see, it's happening in every community. And it is really based on, there just aren't the people that want to be firefighters and medics and, EMTs and paramedics. And the other side is, it's a college education in itself. And there's a Diane Brookhuizen that she deals with the library. When back a few years ago, she went through all the paramedic training, and we were talking all the time about this stuff, and she's telling me what she's having to learn, and I'm going, oh my God, man, I don't know that I would make it. I mean, it is really intense. I mean, you're that far from being a doctor. I mean, you don't get the qualifications. You're at least a high level nurse. The emergency level. I don't know. It's intense. So I appreciate what you do, Ken, and I appreciate the firefighters for what they do. And so in the future, I think we need to think about it.
We don't want to get poached. I agree. We don't want people coming and plucking our guys. And I wouldn't blame them. I mean, honestly, there's something about loyalty, but then again, we lost a teacher this year to West Bloomfield. We said, you got to go. I mean, for the amount of money you're going to make more in the life of your career, you got to do it. And same thing. You got to.
If these guys got very cheap.
I understand that, but I heard the guy in Addis is even better. I don't know where he's up there. Anyway, where is that?
Sure.
Ken, I have a question on your budget.
Yes.
You didn't give yourself a raise.
That budget is, again, we've got 2 contract negotiations until I get
So I have a better feel on where we're gonna be at. All I did was give you a carbon copy last year.
I see that.
So once we get the carbon copy, or once we get the contracts negotiated, we'll,
Personally, I would expect you to come and ask for that increase at that time.
I appreciate that, but this year's budget, we had $298 left over at the end of the year. As we try to improve services for the community, I stretch our budget as far as I can stretch it. I don't do this job for the money.
You're working
Don't
for
say that too loud.
You're working free.
I took a pay cut to come here.
So you're working free?
Very,
Pretty close.
Okay.
very good.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ken, and thank you, board, for getting ready for the final run here in November. And before we get there, Mary McDonald and Mary Pat, thank you guys for your years of involvement on this board and for the years of being responsible.
There we go.
Break out the wine.
Now it's time for the wine. Bring the truck.
What's that?
There's one more board meeting.
Yeah, I know, but this is a good one to do it at. I make sure that we don't.
We got a few
slip
guests
out.
here.
And one other thing, I think that, you know, I've talked about how we've done a good job with our budget year after year, and how our township has been able to develop a substantial fund balance, and it didn't just happen in the last 8. It happened over a lot longer period of time, and that's from paying attention to the pennies and the nickels. And you did a good job on it, so I appreciate that very much. All right, on that note, meeting adjourned.
Last time, nothing.